On 26th of July this year, forces led by the standing head of the Presidential Guard Abdurrahman Chiani engaged in a coup that ended with the capture of the standing President Mohamed Bazoum. Niger is a West African nation situated in a region that has come to be known as the Coup Belt, something reflected upon by the recently elected chairman of ECOWAS, Bola Tinubu, also the president of Nigeria, with him remarking, "We will not allow coup after coup in the West African sub-region. We will take this up seriously with the African Union, Europe, America and Britain." Tensions in Niger are related to the ongoing counter-insurgency against members of the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda, and this coupled with both Niger's economic situation and reports of Bazoum intending to replace Chiani as head of the Presidential Guard led to a successful coup following a previously unsuccessful attempt in 2021, days before Bazoum took office. During the day of the 26th, attempts to counter the coup with promising propaganda ended in the evening with Air Force Colonel Major Amadou Abdrahman announcing on state TV that Bazoum had been removed from power and that they have established the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland. This was followed by the military recognition of the junta the following day and the assumption of power by Chiani the day after that. Niger, due to the coup, is a current suspended member of ECOWAS, or the Economic Community of West African States, a union of 14 countries within West Africa focused on trade and self-sufficiency and that also engages in peacekeeping missions across the region. In the ongoing situation, ECOWAS has threatened the potential use of force to restore democracy and President Bazoum within the week, which in return Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso has announced their intention to invade in response if that were to occur. All of this is compounded due to the active military and political involvement of Russia, who have openly praised the successful coups and whose flag has been seen being waved again and again throughout this episode. Several members of ECOWAS have been suspended due to repeated coups, and with those countries having links to Russia and ECOWAS to the Democratic West, it is soon becoming another potential flashpoint for an East-West war. In Mali, in 2020, a coup d'etat was followed by another in 2021, in which the military, led by Colonel Assimi Goïta and Colonel Major Ismail Wagyu, arrested standing President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta and Prime Minister Boubou Cissé. Following this, former Defence Minister Barton Dor was named as interim president with Goïta as VP, with the promise of a transition back to civilian government in 18 months. But after further tension in 2021, Dor and the interim PM Mokhtar Ouani were then stripped of their power on national TV, with Goïta stating that they tried to sabotage the current transition. This led to the abandonment of the transitional government, Goïta assuming the interim presidency and an extension of 2 years until the return to democracy. After attempts from ECOWAS to negotiate with Mali's military junta and an unsuccessful assassination attempt on Goïta, Malian Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop declared their intention to extend the government transition to a total of 5 years, and in response, ECOWAS announced the closure of borders and severe sanctions on Mali. Following last year's July ECOWAS summit, it was agreed that a general election will be held in 2024 in exchange for the sanctions being removed. Guinea experienced their related coup in 2021 due to the military overthrowing and replacing the current government after months of tension, protests and claims of fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, after taking control of state television, announced the closure of borders and the removal of the unpopular standing President Alpha Condé. Guinea experienced a year's worth of violent protest to Condé's rule, and after suppressing the riots, Condé changed the constitution to legitimize a third term in power, but the economy struggled and after tax hikes and budget cuts, a coup began in September of 2021. After Condé's arrest, the constitution was annulled, the borders were closed, and Mamadi Doumbouya was named as interim president. This ultimately led to the suspension of Guinea's ECOWAS membership. Burkina Faso, who is currently in the news for vocally and militarily opposing any ECOWAS intervention in Niger, was suspended for the first of their 2 related coups happening in 2022. The country is also among those experiencing an ongoing insurgency from the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda, and the tension around the government of the then President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore was centered around the lack of equipment and logistics in the still ongoing fight, as well as the repeated attacks on civilians. After anti-government protests, demands for Kabore to resign, and an apparent assassination attempt against him, a coup began in January 2022. This led to Kabore's detention by military officer Paul-Henri Damiba, closure of borders alongside the national curfew, and an announcement on state television of the deposition of the president due to ongoing difficulties with the insurgency. ECOWAS responded to this by suspending Burkina Faso, who, after suspending the government and the constitution, repealed the suspension and put in power the Patriotic Movement for Safeguard and Restoration, with Damiba as the interim president. Despite initial popularity, the new regime would be beset by the same issues fighting insurgents and were going to lose more land, leading to the start of another coup in September of the same year. This was led by the man currently in the middle of the ECOWAS Niger tension, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. On the evening of the coup, Traoré declared the removal of Damiba, stating ongoing failures fighting the insurgency as the reason. The reason why these countries in particular are playing an important role in all this is thanks to the economic and historic links between them and both the East and West, related to the production of a tangible percentage of important minerals. All four of Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso and Niger produce large quantities of gold, on top of a vast quantity of aluminium from Guinea and uranium from Niger, who produce a fifth of the EU's imports. Hopefully this should help explain why interest is so high in the outcome of the Niger coup. Unfortunately, all we can do is wait for the developing situation to evolve.